Kentucky has got to land these 6 2025 recruits. That is going to be the conversation on today's episode of the Wildcats Today podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak, writer and editor over at Wildcats Today, joined as always by my co-host who's back from the beach, Carson Nash. Carson, you're home. Life is good, even though not at the beach. How are you feeling?
Yeah, life's always good, but at the beach it might be a tad bit better.
Might be a tad better when you're drinking, cold Sprites after the podcast at 2:00 on a Thursday. I'm sure that's
with 90-degree weather, it's always much nicer. But
100%.
Yeah, and an unfortunate loss for the Batcats last night, which kind of dampened my mood a little bit too. So
we'll have to see what happens there. It looks like they might get rained out tonight. I don't know that for a fact, but I know it's looking
rain. Like it.
So we'll have to, or at least it looks like we'll be up late watching ball. So one or the other. I'd rather it would play tomorrow, but maybe not, because then we probably play doubleheader. I don't know what I want. If I knew,
I definitely don't want to play doubleheader. So
we don't want to do that because when you can't lose, you can't afford to lose. So I'm with you on that. A couple announcements coming for the podcast. We said we had some news. We have joined the Minute Media podcast network. Now, Minute Media is the company who owns now the website that I write for, Wildcats Today, which is getting ready to take a name change. And so our podcast is going to have to take a name change. So we thought, leave us some ideas in the comments. Give us some new podcast ideas in the comments. Really curious to hear y'all's thoughts on some new names, what we should name this. Carson and I, we're not the most creative. I think we got to give ourselves a little credit, but we're not the most creative when it comes to things like
arts and crafts. Were never my
I was not a superstar in that class. No gold stars for this guy. No glitter. But let us know some name ideas in the comments if you got any. Let them fly. Let's hear them. We're excited to hear them, and we'll probably that change will happen in probably the next 2 weeks, and we'll let y'all know before it does. But Carson, let's get straight into this. We each have 3 players that we believe Kentucky has got to land in this class. So let's get right into it. Carson, who is your first player that the Cats got to land?
Yeah, mine is going to be Jasper Johnson. I know I talked a little bit about him on the last pod, but I think getting Jasper to Kentucky is the number one thing to do for this upcoming class. I think keeping him in state, which I mean, technically he's not in state right now, but he's at prep school. Like he's an in-state guy. He's a Woodford County. He has ties to the college. His dad played football here. I think that getting Jasper would be Pope's first big fish. And frankly, I think that the knock on Pope wasn't coaching, it's recruiting. So I think him getting a top 10 player in his first real cycle would be absolutely monstrous for Pope.
And, I think that we've got to remember about Coach Pope is he was having to recruit at places that it's hard to recruit. And I don't, we've discussed, this was part of our discussion last pod, Carson, but I don't think he's going to have any issues. I really don't. I think that he's going to recruit really well. And will it take some time? When it comes to Jasper, like you're a little behind there and not a lot. You got to remember building these relationships. It's years and years of stuff. So Coach Pope's a little bit behind, not far behind on this, but you just can't let a player like this slip out of your hands. Once again, technically he's playing at Link Academy, which is in somewhere in Missouri, I believe, but he's a Kentucky kid, it was at Woodford before making the transfer to that prep school. Dad played football here. Dad's still the head coach of Woodford County, I believe. So, I mean, he's got ties to this school. I mean, he grew up 30 minutes from Rupp Arena. This is the type of guy you got to go get. And he's also, so Carson, tell us a little bit about tell us about Jasper as a player. Like, what do you like about him as a player?
Yeah, I mean, he's a 6'4" guard, and he shoots the crap out of the ball. Yeah. Like he makes everything. But I think he's a perfect fit for Pope's system. He's a great facilitator, a knockdown shooter. He can do everything Pope wants in a point guard. And him being a Kentucky kid is only a bonus because the kid has all the talent in the world. So I think that's why he's my number one guy. I think you have to land Jasper Johnson.
I agree.
And I think Pope's throwing some punches right now because he's got Jasper on campus as we speak with his family. So it could be good news in the near future. Hopefully.
That'd be awesome. That'd be really cool. But, and I think I want to make a comment about we say, I think the term Coach Pope's system, I want to talk about that because I've seen some folks in comments of articles, not in our podcast comments, but saying that Coach Pope's system isn't really a thing. Last year they were, I've seen a lot more people than you would think, Carson, saying that. So I do believe that Coach Pope can change a system based on personnel. But I'll tell you this. I think that regardless of what he's going to do offensively, he still wants all of the players on the floor to be able to shoot and pass. Except for maybe his center. Garrison is not going to be out there, pulling.
Neither is Amari Williams. So I think they're more of the physicality, defense.
And they can pass, though.
Yeah. Facilitating.
So he has a type of player he likes. So, yes, his system, maybe they won't shoot as many threes this year as they did last year. That could be true. But he's still building a team around the type of system he likes to play where everyone can dribble, everyone can pass, and pretty much everybody can shoot. That's how he wants to win basketball games. Now, this year, luckily, too, he's got guys who can defend, which is really exciting. I bet you the KenPom numbers are going to be really impressive next year.
I bet they're absurd because you got to think we probably have the best shooting team, one of the better defending teams. It would be fun to look at those numbers.
Yeah, sure. I can't wait. I already wish it was basketball season. But the good news is, take life slow because football's coming up, which is also exciting. My first player is a guy who I'm pretty sure got an offer yesterday because I wrote an article about it this morning. So it had to have been yesterday. But his name is Nate Ament. And he is a player that, a guy that really is kind of quickly rising up the rankings. And so he's a player. And once again, we keep talking about the fit for Coach Pope's system. He can do it all. He's a 6'9" power forward, maybe room to grow another inch or two. But, regardless, that'll work. That'll be fine. But he can shoot really well. He can pass the ball. He can dribble. He'll help you on the boards. He's an all-around great player for this system. And, talking about Coach Pope and recruiting and selling a vision, I think that he needs to be able to sell to a kid like this, to a kid like Nate Ament. Sell to him, hey, you do exactly what I want players to do. Look, okay, the player that played your role last year, he got picked 21st overall in the NBA draft, and now he's a role player for the Warrior. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're talking about Andrew Carr.
Yeah, 100%. I was, but who, by the way, Andrew Carr, I think might be 7'11". That dude is tall. He is not 6'10" or whatever. Just let the record show. But you know what I mean? You see what I'm saying, Carson? You should be able to sell this vision to a player like this. Hey, look, come play for me. I have a role specifically for your skill sets, and that should work really, really, really well for what you want to do. I think it's not going to be – I think when players get a vision sold to them like that, it's easy to want to do that, and I think Coach Pope's going to do that. So that's my number one player. Carson, who is your number two player on this list?
Yeah, my number two guy is the MVP of the top 100 camp, Chris Cenac. I think this kid's a stud. And I think he's just coming into his own right at the right time. And he's blowing up. He's actually a 4-star right now, but I have a feeling that is going to change in the very near future.
Not for long.
Yeah, because he has all the tools to be a fantastic big man.
Yeah.
He's very physical. He can put the ball on the floor more than you would think. And his jump shot doesn't look terrible. Now, he's not going to go up and force terrible shots.
Yeah.
But he's a really skilled big man that can get whatever he wants.
Yeah. He's a guy, I like recruits like this that kind of, especially for Coach Pope. Coach Calipari, these weren't his type of players, these kind of late risers. I'm sure he took one here and there, but you know what I mean? Coach Calipari was always after the established guys.
Mm-hmm.
I think a player like Cenac is a great example of exactly what Coach Pope is looking for. He's a guy that is climbing up these rankings. He's getting attention, 6'10", 230 pounds. He is built. He is strong. He can finish around the rim. He's got post moves. He can rebound. I like this kid a lot, Carson. I think he's a really good player. And I think this is the type of player, if you want him, go get him right now. Don't let him become a top 20 player and let Hurley and, I haven't looked at his offer list, but you see what I'm saying? Like, people really get in on him. Go get him now. Get this over with. Now, a lot of coaches were in person to watch him at that camp. So it's not like he's a secret that nobody knows about. But, I think that's something I'm really, really excited to see play out. So my number 2 guy is Malachi Moreno. Now, listen, same reason with Jasper Johnson that you just got done talking about. These in-state kids are so valuable. In Kentucky, we just don't see a ton of this highly ranked basketball talent. It's not like, New York and Florida and California where there's always 5-star players. Yeah. You just don't see it. It's been a good couple of years with highly ranked Kentucky guys. With
Reed
and Travis, and then now Jasper and Malachi and Trent. I mean, yeah, it's been a good, few year run of talent in Kentucky, but it's not going to always be like this. You have got to strike while the metal's hot. You know what I mean? You got to, whatever there's a saying, the saying.
Iron's hot.
Is iron's hot? I thought so, but I'm stupid. I thought, it's gold medal, but, so thank you. Tip the cap. So, go get him. Go get this kid. He's a great player. He's not a shooter, but it's the same thing as Williams and Garrison. He can dribble a little bit. He can kick out to open shooters. He can score around the rim. He can clean up the glass. That is what he's going to be out there to do. He's a player I really, really, really like, and I don't think you're going to see him have any issue scoring and rebounding at the next level. I think he's the guy that Coach Pope has got to go land. So, Carson, who is your third guy? I think you're shooting for the stars here a little bit. Let's see.
Yeah, no, my third guy is I'm definitely shooting for the stars a little bit, but I want Pope to just absolutely come out and make a huge splash. But it's Darryn Peterson. I know I talked a little bit about him as well on the last podcast. But I really, really love his game. And we're going to be losing Lamont Butler and Kirk Krissa. So we're losing both guards. So if you combat that with adding Jasper Johnson and Darryn Peterson, then hey, you have one of the best backcourts in the country already. 2 top 10 guys. Darren's a top 3 player. He's fully ready to lead a college team. But we're going to be going up against all the big boys in this one. But I do think he does have interest in Kentucky. I think he likes Kentucky. He even said, he's like, it's still Kentucky. I'm still interested in Kentucky. And I think Mark Pope is going to turn out to be a better recruiter than most of us think because he's younger. He's more in tune with the young guys. And like Andrew said, he can sell them on a system. Like, this is what you're going to be doing.
You come here and you'll fit right into what I want you to do. And,
and Cal will just be like, we just do dribble drive. And so
and I told you, Cal, I mean, that was one of the weirdest things I ever heard in a press conference. And like, when he said it, I was like, it almost kind of hit me. And I was like, what? And I've told you this, Carson, I think I've said it on the show before, but when it was just one of the press conferences after a game early in the season last year, and someone asked him, so coach, when you go recruit these top players, what are you looking for? What kind of, are you looking for guys to fit a system? He goes, I just go get the best guys I can get and we figure it out from there. And I was like, and it was one of those where I was just sitting there. I was probably like, itching my ear. And I was like, what? Like, that's just kind of like, I don't know. Like, maybe that it sounded worse than what he meant. I don't know. But when he said that, I remember I was like, what? It was a really interesting comment. And I agree with you on what you're saying about Pope. He has a serious system that just ball move. It's beautiful basketball. And that's what we've all watched film. Of Coach Pope from last year, of his team. But I'm just telling you, when you get to see it this year, wearing it's Kentucky blue, not BYU blue. It's just going to be, it's beautiful basketball. It's that basketball where 5 passes leads to an open corner 3 for Kobe Brea, and Kentucky goes up 9 on Tennessee, and we're everybody's losing their marbles. Like, that's the stuff we're talking about.
After I see my first backdoor cut of the Pope era, I'm just going to lose my marbles in general.
Yeah,
but it's just going to be so refreshing.
So my last guy I have here is a Sadan Lewis, and he's very similar to Cenac, like you said, Carson. A guy rising up. He was just in Lexington for an unofficial visit on yesterday, actually. And then he, of course, picked up an offer the same day. So a guy that, Kentucky is getting in on. He's ranked, let me see here, 59th in the composite rankings. So not, once again, kind of like Cenac, not a super highly ranked guy, but a guy who's drawing more interest from teams. So that's really, really, he's the type of guy, that can come in and play 4 years for you. And the first year, he maybe doesn't get a ton of reps. And then the second year, he gets a few more reps. And then, or he plays 10 minutes as a freshman. And then as a sophomore, he plays 17. But then he's like junior and senior year, he's an elite guard who in March can win you basketball games. So that's my last guy. Now, Carson, I know what we're going to do for the show on Thursday. So before we call it a day, I want to throw you a lob and let you throw this. This hit me. I wrote an article about this today. So you know how, and this is not, we're not throwing any shots at Coach Cal when I say this, but Coach Cal kept saying, remember last year he kept saying his team was built for March, and then of course it didn't. And that's not a knock, but the point here to it is I think that this Kentucky team, this 24-25 Kentucky basketball team, is built for March. Serious. So Carson, do you want to give us a 30-second little why defend that statement? Give me a 30-second defend this, a little preview, and then
I'll do a little preview. So I'm gonna go. They definitely have the veteran leadership that it takes and physicality it takes to win in March. But I will say this doesn't even have to do with the team. This has to do with Pope.
Yeah.
So Cal used to not run full practices until maybe right up before the season started. First practice yesterday, Pope goes, "We're going full speed, 100%. I need you to give everything you can give." And that
I saw that in the comments. I saw people commenting saying Cal didn't do that stuff till November. But there's a lot to be excited about. But Carson, I'll tell you this: I think that it's going to Thursday. I'm going to have some claims on Thursday. I'm going to leave it there. I won't give you.
You got me excited.
I'm not going to give a preview, because if I give a preview, it might be brick wall time. Because you all know me. When I give an opinion, I try to be pretty, not over the top with takes. But I think I'm going to have some folks ready to run through a brick wall. So we'll do that on Thursday. Carson, I just threw that at you. It just hit me. I was just sitting here and that hit me. I'm like, we're doing that because I wrote an article about it today. So that is going to be Thursday's show. It's going to be a lot of fun. So be ready for that.
What do you think about the new team? You were at the father-son camp.
Yeah. The thing that I took away from it is these players, they've only known each other for a couple weeks, and they seem to be really tight. And I think that is just, I just think it's this new coaching staff. It's everybody, everything involved. It's brotherhood. It's everything coaches are supposed to teach their players, is that people need to be tight. People need to believe in one another, get to know each other. You're supposed to be brothers on and off the floor, friends, great in the community. All the players were great with these kids, great with the parents. It was really cool to see. So I think you're going to see that rub off on this program in the future. But like I said, Carson, if you haven't, let us know in those comments. We need some names. And now, we need some good ones. So we've got to figure it out. I'd say probably the first of the month is when we'll start rolling with the new name. So let us know that in the YouTube comments, some names you like for the pod. We're going to think of some too. And we'll maybe our last show before we make the decision, we'll give you a top 3 and we'll pick and we'll roll with it. But we'll keep you in the loop on this. But a lot of changes coming with us joining Minute Media. It's going to help us be a better podcast. It's going to help us, outreach wise. So it's just exciting stuff. And this is all thanks to you all tuning in every day and helping us grow this podcast. So thanks to people that have been here from day one, new listeners, new subscribers. We really love and appreciate you all for being here every day. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit that like button, all that stuff. Know when we're posting, subscribe, thumbs up. We've still got a giant slip and slide party coming up before, hopefully, at some point here in the near future, if we can get to 2,000 subscribers. And we're talking the full on, right, Carson?
Yes.
We're talking the full on downhill slip and slide, like you see it like a little kid's party, like, when you're like 7. Like we're talking about one of those.
But I have to dislocate another knee for it.
Touche. Well, hopefully we're going to go with the right one this time so it heals faster. There you go. But, ladies and gentlemen, you know what we're doing Thursday. It's going to be a banger. It's going to be fun. I'm already excited about it. I'm glad that hit me. Carson, I think you're going to enjoy that one too.
Oh, I'm excited.
So we will see y'all on Thursday for that. I hope everybody has an outstanding rest of your Tuesday, and we will see you on Thursday.